Hello everyone and welcome to a special New Year video to end 2020 and begin 2021. This has been a crazy year to say the least, and I'm on vacation right now but with nowhere to go because California, where I live, is under lots of restrictions due to high COVID numbers. So right now I am bringing you a video about American culture. How do Americans celebrate the new year? First, I'll talk about what we do on this holiday and then why this holiday is important in our culture. And finally, I'll talk a little bit about how the new year in the United States is different from how New Year's is celebrated in some other countries. And please be sure to stay until the end of the video because I have a question for you. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe if you have not done so already. This really helps me to grow my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. So let's get started. How do Americans celebrate the new year? First, it's important to note the timing of the New Year holiday because it comes just 6 days after Christmas. Most Americans are on vacation during that time, and kids are also out of school. Kids have a 2-week break during this time of the year that's called winter break. So often for families who have time off during that week, they will either travel, that's a really busy travel time, or they will stay home and just relax as a family. Take down their Christmas decorations and maybe catch up on things around the house. Now, in some countries, the Christmas celebration extends into January and finishes on a day that's called Epiphany. But for most Americans who celebrate Christmas, Christmas Day, December 25th, is the last day of Christmas celebrations. So that's what happens before the New Year holiday. Now let's see what Americans do on the actual New Year's holiday. So as you probably know, New Year's is separated into 2 parts. There's New Year's Eve, which is the night of December 31st. And then there's New Year's Day, which is January 1st. Probably New Year's Eve is the more important of those 2 parts. So to celebrate New Year's Eve, we ring in the new year. To ring in the new year means to mark the moment that the new year begins, which is at 12 o'clock midnight on New Year's Eve night. And we do this in usually one of 3 ways. One common way to celebrate is to go to an outdoor gathering like at a park or at a famous landmark like maybe a bridge, or the most famous one is Times Square in New York. And everybody will put on their winter coats and have a big outdoor party. And this party will, of course, consist of a big fireworks show. Now, in the city where I live, we have 2 fireworks shows at the waterfront in Sacramento. One fireworks show starts at 9 p.m., which is more for kids and families, and then there's a bigger show at midnight. The Times Square celebration in New York that's so famous includes performances by famous musicians and singers, and just a big group of thousands and thousands of people celebrating together. The second way that Americans celebrate is to have an indoor party with friends and family. And this kind of party would include music and dancing and drinks and finger foods and, of course, champagne, which is the drink that we like to use to ring in or to celebrate the moment that the new year begins. Champagne is a sparkling wine that we like to use to toast or to celebrate for special occasions. And the last way that Americans celebrate is to have a quiet celebration at home. Fireworks shows from all over the world are broadcast on TV, so people who stay home for New Year's will watch these fireworks shows, and of course the Times Square celebration from New York, which includes famous broadcasters that narrate the entire evening. And they will toast the new year with champagne and wish their family members a happy new year. No matter where or how you celebrate, you must do 2 things at midnight. The first one is to count down from 10 seconds before the new year begins. So we do it like this: 10, 9, 8, 7, etc. And at that moment, we give our family or friends hugs, kisses, we say Happy New Year, and we clink our champagne glasses together. New Year's Day is a federal holiday, which means that there's no school and no government services, like no mail and government offices are closed, and people are given a paid day off of work. However, you will notice that there are some people who work on New Year's Day, especially if they're in the service industries, like if they work in restaurants or grocery stores, because a lot of those services will stay open on New Year's Day. Because New Year's Eve is such a big party, a lot of people will take New Year's Day to rest. There are big New Year's parades and football games on TV, so a lot of people enjoy staying home and watching those on TV with their family. Now, when we want to think about what New Year's means to us, we often think about resolutions. Resolutions are decisions that we make or promises that we make to ourselves about the way that we want to do something different in the next year. Resolutions usually focus on health, so a lot of people make resolutions about exercising more or losing weight or eating more healthy food or trying to get more sleep or quitting a bad habit like quitting smoking. And for these reasons, you'll notice that gyms are usually very crowded after the New Year. But as for other cultures, in the United States, the New Year is considered a time for renewal and starting over and leaving the past behind. Before I finish, I want to talk about some cultural differences in how New Year's is celebrated. In some countries, a special New Year's meal is served, or traditional food is cooked on New Year's. But we don't really do that in the United States. We don't have specific food that we like to eat on New Year's, and we often don't have a big family meal. Also, we don't exchange gifts or give kids anything special on New Year's. In some cultures, there are a lot of superstitions surrounding the New Year, but the US is not a very superstitious culture, and we don't really have superstitions about the New Year. For example, in Brazil, the people like to have white underwear as a way of celebrating the new, and also they like to eat lentils, which are a sign of prosperity or good luck. We do often think about the phrase, out with the old, in with the new, but again, without any kind of like symbols or superstitions. Also, I know that in some countries, especially in Asia, the New Year is considered maybe the most important day of the year, and it's a huge celebration that can even last several days. But in the US, the New Year is really not that important of a holiday. Usually Christmas, Thanksgiving, and maybe the 4th of July are more important holidays. At the beginning of this video, I told you that I had a question for you. So my question is, what are your New Year's resolutions this year? I will share mine with you in the comments below so that you can see how to answer this question. I wish you all the best for the next year. Thank you for being here. Take care and Happy New Year.